Chelsea celebrating a big 3 points at home to Tottenham at Stamford Bridge. It means they're into the top four and very much keeps their Champions League hopes alive. Did they do just about enough then for you, Glenn, to warrant the 3 points?
Oh yes, tonight, yeah. On that performance over the 90 minutes plus, it was a lot of plus. They did enough. They did enough. You know, they were the dangerous team. They're the ones that created a lot in the first half. And then what the manager did, let's put three at the back. Let's put the big guys in because they thought Spurs might launch a few balls in there. Didn't actually do as much as I thought they should have done, right at the death there. But they dealt with everything that Spurs, threw at them. And it was only one chance really, right at the very end, when Johnson got on the outside, crosses it through that 6-yard box where Son might have scored and Sanchez made a recovery save. Other than that, you can't really say that Spurs created any really other good chance. They really didn't. Chelsea were in control of that game most of the game. Yeah.
Half chance from Mickey van der Ven, wasn't it? A little scrappy thing in the penalty area, hits it into the ground. I agree with Glenn. I thought there was one team in control and that was Chelsea, and they deserved to win the game. What
it does do is it continues this stranglehold over Spurs, which is simply incredible at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, you got to forget that now. You can't worry about that. Like we talked at the top of the show, there's one game at a time. It's the Frankfurt game. It's next Thursday. Where are they going to get the confidence? I'll tell you where they're going to get confidence, when they play at home to Southampton. That's where they get the confidence. If they was to lose that game, it's a different kettle of fish, but it's unthinkable. Unthinkable they can go into that with all their players back to fitness now, apart from Kulusevski, for them to lose at home to Southampton on the eve of a massive European tie, which they have to win.
Yeah, I think he'll rest a few of them players for Thursday, for Frankfurt. Definitely. Van der Ven, he brought him off pretty right at the end there. Didn't want to take any risks with him.
No, because it has backfired before.
Yeah, of course. So he needs to get his number one team, his strongest team out there for the Thursday. Yeah. And let's face it, the squad that they've got, they should be able to go out against Southampton, who are virtually down, playing at home. You should get through that tie, that game and win the game.
Well, we'll talk more, I suppose, mid-term in terms of Spurs and Ange Postecoglou, where it leaves him between now and the end of the season. But took Chelsea, 4 minutes of the second half, Glenn, to get the match-winning goal, Enzo Fernandez. How did he find the space to make this header count?
Well, what it was, he goes into the penalty area and he's waiting for the ball to go out. He goes out and then he drifts. He just drifts on the blind side of Van der Ven. He hasn't had to make it acute. Look, we're watching here. We circle him. Look, Van der Ven's there. Romero's got Jackson there, and it just makes a subtle little run on the blind side. And if you don't open your body up there as a defender, you don't see him. Van der Ven, for whatever reason, has gone across to Romero's guy.
And Jackson?
He's gone to Jackson, where he was lined up nicely to be there, and he would have headed that away if he does his job well. And at the end of the day, it's a decent finish, but it was an easy finish for him.
He's got a real problem, Glenn, hasn't he, Mickey van der Ven? As soon as he can see, Enzo can see his number, you've got a serious problem. He's drifted behind him, cannot see him, and it's a fantastic header. He drifted into the box time and time again tonight. He's a better number 8. He's not a 6. They've got Caicedo to do that job. Yeah. He puts the shift in. He gets back, he gets up, and he's a goal threat. I think he's fulfilling his potential. I know he's won things. I think he's a major player for them in the future, but they have to build around him.
What did you make of the Spurs defenders and their body language at the point that ball goes over?
Well, I thought all night. I sing the praises of Mickey van der Ven all of the time. I think in straight lines, when the ball's in behind him, he recovers. I think he's very good. He's dynamic the way he recovers. I think he can still improve. He's still developing. I think from crosses, he's not the best, and it showed it there tonight. It's highlighted that, but you need to keep developing. Just because they're in the first team doesn't matter. You need to keep showing them. Keep showing the positives, showing the negatives, and they've got to take it on board. And at the moment, I think Mickey van der Ven can improve in them situations. I think it's only him. He has to hold his hands up there, and so it's drifted off the back of him.
His problem is, like any defender, Tim, is that he's looked to the ball. I used to say to defenders, when it's acute to you, when the ball's in front there, that's one thing. You can see the attack. Once it goes acute and there's a cross coming in, if you look at that ball more than 2 seconds without having a look, readjusting over your shoulder, looking, we talk about midfield players, good midfield players, knowing the picture, looking over your shoulder, having your wing mirrors on. It's the same for defenders, to actually open your shoulder up, have a little glance. Where's he gone? Has he pulled off me? Have I got him? No. He's looked at the ball and he's looked at the ball and he's looked at the ball. He hasn't got a clue where the attacker is.
Is it rustiness?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, there was a few of them in there who have not played a lot, but you could say the same for Chelsea as well. They had a few players in there. I mean, he's lasted 74 minutes or whatever, Nicholas Jackson, maybe even longer. Cole Palmer stays in there. I think you can't take away from the quality of the cross as well. He just lends it in there with his left foot, doesn't he? Doesn't just whip it aimlessly across. He knows exactly where Enzo's going to end up, and he puts it on the spot, and it's a good header.
6 minutes later, it felt like the contest was almost put to bed. Moises Caicedo scored this goal, but VAR, of course, intervened, and Levi Colwill was deemed to be offside.
Yeah, good use of VAR.
You think so?
Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, once they've looked here, it's very tight. It's a toenail decision again, which I don't like, and it was a wonderful strike. But, I mean, for the naked eye, it looked like he was just offside. It took an awful long time, but as long as they get to the correct decision, that's what they did. But again, Tottenham clearing it, and there's no one winning the second ball. Caicedo's there again. He anticipates where the ball's going to fall, and it's a great volley from him. But it's a correct decision.
It's marginal, though, isn't it? It's so tight.
No, it's miles offside. No, I mean, that was good use of VAR, and that's what you need it there for, lines. It just took so long, didn't it? Yeah. It was a crucial decision. It was tight as well, let's be fair. I can't wait for automated offsides to come in. Because
just coming in, April the 12th?
We can get him earlier.
Yeah, we can get him earlier. But it's so easy and clearer and crisp, and oh, look, it is a toenail. You can see it's a toenail. Whereas that red line, you can't tell if that line's too thick at the moment. Yeah. For us, we're going, maybe it might have gone the other way. But, once that comes in, it's much clearer and it'll be quicker and let the game flow again.
In the end, how much better did Chelsea look for having Jackson and Palmer back in the lineup?
Yeah, improved them. Well, you've got a vocal point up front, haven't you? Someone who occupies defenders and creates space for others. I think he looked a real threat from the first minute, when he goes in behind them. And he scares them to death with that. Automatically, they step back another 5 or 10 yards and it leaves the space for Enzo.
It was a minute in and he hit the post, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he is a real threat. I mean, he's hit and missed the boy. You don't know where you're going to get. He's a bag of rebels. But in the end, I think he knows what he's doing. Yeah. He knows he's a nuisance, and that's what he is. Yeah. He's an absolute nuisance, and I mean that as a big positive, and that's a compliment from me. I would have loved to have him in my team, because he can be hit and miss with the finishing. Sometimes he needs to slow himself down in front of goal, but he's a real threat in behind.
That's a bag of chocolates, in case anybody doesn't know what they are, but others are available.
We showed the clips before the game of what they've been missing. Neto weren't going to do that run when he was playing.
No.
He wanted to come towards the ball. Suddenly, within first minute, we've showed them clips, he's going on the back of the defence, and as Tim says, now you're stretching the pitch. You've got a number 10 in there, a proper number 10, as in Cole, who's now going to create a lot more space for him to go and play and hurt you. Whereas Neto will be coming towards the ball and crowding that out, and then it's the number 10 that's got to go in behind. Yeah. If that's the case, that's not Chelsea. He gave them that little threat in behind, and any defender will tell you that's where they don't want. They don't want that player coming towards the ball and spinning and getting in behind. That's a nightmare for them.
I did mention how maybe Van de Ven might have been rusty with the decision making for that header, but considering that Jackson was out for 2 months, I mean, there was no sign of that whatsoever.
No, he looked as sharp as anything.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got to say, he wanted to go in behind. He didn't look really fatigued, where you're thinking, oh, you better drag him off. He protected him. But no, he looked really sharp. Sometimes that happens, Your first one or two, you feel sharp. It's about the third one that you might hit the rail, and the buffers a little bit. But, that's what I'm only talking from my experience. The first one or two,
I agree.
If you've been out a while, is okay. You get through that. But it's the third one.
And they're playing no reserve games these days.
No, that's right. Yeah.
They just get themselves up. The heart monitors are on. The sports scientists say, yes, Gaffer, he's ready to go. Yeah. They know their bodies more than anyone. The manager has to trust him. He's asked him. He's obviously trusted him to play 90 if he wanted to do that. I thought he played very well tonight. I really do.
Yeah. And he certainly signalled his intent so early in the game. Yeah. And I suppose Spurs centre-backs knew they were in for a match-up from that moment on.
It's exactly what you want. Just send a message out.
Yeah, exactly.
That, you can try and squeeze us if you want. We know Tottenham like to put the press on. And if the Sanchez gets it out of his feet and hits it long, he goes over the top. It sent a message out that we can play both ways. If you want to go short, we'll do that. We'll go over the top as well. We've got Jackson who's going to threaten him behind. Yeah. Thought he was excellent.
Right, let's get some more reaction then on that big win for Chelsea. Pitchside at the bridge for us. Levi Colwill. Levi, thanks for joining us. Well done tonight on a hard-fought win in the end.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was an amazing win for the boys, for the fans. It meant so much for all of us, and we're just so pleased to get the 3 points and push on to the next.
And how significant do you see that result in terms of your Champions League aspirations?
Yeah, definitely. We know Tottenham are a good side, and we've got to take every game like it's the final. And also, it's a derby. This meant so much for us and the fans, and we knew we had to go out there and give them everything.
You know, there's this terrible run that Spurs are on when it comes to going to Stamford Bridge, 1 win in 40 in all competitions. Is that something that you players were wary of going to this game, almost as if it's got a hold over these Spurs players?
I wouldn't say so. They've got some really good players, but so do we. And here at the Bridge, with that environment, with the fans going crazy, we got that extra push, and it showed today.
We were talking about the rivalry between Chelsea and Tottenham and how over the years it just delivers goals and drama, plenty of flashpoints. Was that aware amongst the Chelsea players? Were you all aware of that going out onto the field of play today?
No, I wouldn't say so. Of course, it's a derby. Previous times we played against them, of course, we've scored those goals and conceded loads of goals. But I think today, a 1-0 win and a clean sheet has been the best performance we've got against Tottenham recently, or that I've played in at least.
I suppose, yeah, you said the clean sheet, as you know, with your defender's hat on. That's the ideal outcome, particularly when it comes against your fiercest local rivals.
Yeah, definitely. A clean sheet gives us all the confidence we need, especially in a derby where, you know, the fans are going crazy. It can be a lot going on, but we just got to keep our cool and make sure they don't score and go to the other end and score as many goals as we can. And I think today we created a load of chances, which we could have scored more from, but we'll take the 1-0 win and the 3 points.
You're up to 4th now. So what would be the ultimate aim? Is it those top 5 places? Is it all on that, or not in your eyes?
We got to push to get Champions League. That's the level we're at. And of course, recently in the last couple of months, we've maybe dropped off. But we need to pick back up now and get the points and take every game like it's a final. And yeah, push for the Champions League spots.
And how big a bonus is it to get the likes of Noni back and Nicholas Jackson and of course Cole Palmer?
Oh yeah, these players are amazing. I think you see today Nico, he just creates chances out of nothing, and that's why he's such a good player. Noni, when he came on, gave us the energy we needed to pick us up, to get us up the pitch, got fouls, got the fans going, and we all know how good Cole Palmer is, you know, creates everything for us. When we get the ball to him, everyone gets excited, the fans, us, because we know that he's going to cause them a nightmare and potentially score or get assists or give us another chance to get up the pitch.
Levi, well done today. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. See you later, guys.
Yeah, mate.
Chelsea defender Levi Colwill, who's becoming a regular feature now of that centre-back, of that Chelsea defence, isn't he, Glenn?
He is. I mean, I saw him when I first saw him at Brighton, when he was on loan down at Brighton. I thought, oh, who's this kid? You know, he looks impressive to me. He's tall, he's elegant, he's got a bit of pace about him, and he's got good use of the ball. And that's when I first saw him. And then obviously he comes now into the he's gonna make a few mistakes. I've seen a couple of mistakes out of him, but you learn very quickly as a youngster. And for me, yeah, he's one that's going to be in that England squad for years to come.
Yeah, and can't be easy because he is still quite young. He's not had a regular centre-half partner with him, or even a goalkeeper, which has been chopping and changing of late, which must make a defender's life quite tricky.
Absolutely, but he's a regular. You know, I think he's grown. He's got more confidence. He's got a personality about him now. He's got his pal playing. They've called him back from Palace. Trevor Chalobah's in there, 2 academy boys. Obviously got a Reece on the bench. They've got a core of academy players. I think it's really important for any team to have. You can buy the superstars, you can drop them in, but as long as you have your core, they really mean. He said it's a derby. It's the first thing he said. Some of the other foreign players in there, they would have been told it's a derby, but they wouldn't recognise it as much as these boys do.
Yeah.
He recognised that. He knew it was a huge game, not only for the position in the league where they need to be, but for bragging rights for their fans tomorrow. They're going to have a lot of fun, their fans, with the Tottenham fans.
I felt sorry for him. He had a spell where he had to play left back, do you remember?
Yeah.
They went into a 3 in possession, but in defensive, he was always out playing left back for a long spell, and I'm thinking that ain't doing you any good. In the long run, it might do. He knows what a full-back's position is now, so that's helped him in his education as a centre-back. But realistically, his position is perfect. Where he played today, that's where he can progress.
Yeah. OK, well, we can head back to Stamford Bridge and this time speak to Chelsea legend, former striker Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. Evening, Jimmy. What was your reading then of Chelsea's performance over the 90 minutes?
I thought it was a good Chelsea performance. I think they started really sharp with a good chance from Nicholas that he didn't convert it. But I think Chelsea controlled the game without the ball and with the ball. created some chances, especially from the left. 2 good saves from the Spurs goalkeeper. And overall, I think it's a deserved win. The last 10 minutes was a little bit nervy. They go with 5 at the back just to play for the result. But overall, I think it was a good performance after their last game against Arsenal. You know, I think it was a good performance.
Yeah, because they registered the lowest expected goals against Arsenal and clearly showed more of an attacking threat this time round. Talking of which, Nicholas Jackson, back in the lineup after 2 months, he looked pretty sharp considering his absence.
He's important for the team. He brings a lot of energy. He gives them something else that they don't have. Yes, he needs to get better at converting his chances, but he's creating his own chances a lot of time, and he's putting defenders on the back foot, and that's what they have missed a bit. And yeah, it was important seeing him back.
Jimmy, hope you're well, mate. Tim Sherwood. I just want to ask you, you're on the ground there, you can hear. Could you hear the frustration from the Tottenham fans there? Especially towards the end, there was a few changes what Ange made.
Yeah, you could hear it. It's not nice. It's not, I think, deserved because the boy that came in, Sarr, was a little bit unlucky with being lucky. He makes a foul, but then he almost scores with a good hit, and it's a good player as well. So it's. Look, the manager makes substitutions because he thinks that's the best substitution to win the game, you know. So yeah, it's not nice, but yeah, you could hear it, Tim. You could hear it.
Finally, Jimmy, you know, winning against your fierce rivals, you've been there for Chelsea. We saw it earlier with that hat-trick against Spurs. What does that do to the confidence in that dressing room going forward?
Well, I hope. A lot, you know, they can take a lot from the game. They've got Nicholas back, they've got Palmer back. Caicedo was immense today. He's so important for the team. They played some good football here and there. Now for the rest of the season, they've got to challenge themselves. They've got the challenge to keep this kind of performance up and keep on creating them chances and put them away. What was really good today as well is that they kept a clean sheet, and they haven't kept clean sheets for a long time. If they keep on keeping clean sheets, then you know you have a much bigger chance of winning games. And successful teams, that's what they do, clean sheets.
We also need spectacular goal celebrations. It's not been the same at the Bridge since you left.
No. Listen, it was a good day for Chelsea today. Good performance. The place was rocking. The atmosphere was absolutely amazing. They got the 3 points against their biggest rivals, you know, here in London. Well done to them, and now up to the next one.
Great talking to you, Jimmy, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Former Chelsea striker Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. Time for a quick break on Matchday Live. When we come back, more reaction.